April 23rd. The Blue Flame. A house in rural North Carolina. It's small and in bad shape. There has been some cosmetic improvement on the inside. There's one door opposite the bedroom with a handwritten sign reading, "Keep this door shut." A modest backyard is surrounded by a thick, dark green forest. The forest has two kinds of trees, those that seem unnaturally tall and irrationally straight, terminating high in the sky, and the other are veinous, growing in strange directions and blending into one another. It's April 23rd. Stu is working in the bathroom trying to replace the guts in the toilet, while IZZY is stacking boxes in the bedroom.
Move water supply coupling nut from bottom of tank, did that. Remove fill valve from tank, okay, done.
What?
Remove tank lever nut.
What?
Nothing!
Can't be nothing.
I'm trying to concentrate.
I try to concentrate, I do it in silence.
What?
Nothing.
Didn't sound like nothing.
He's struggling with the tank lever nut.
God damn it!
Shit.
The boxes IZZY was stacking fall on her.
Are you okay?
Why did you yell out?
Why did you yell out?
Never mind.
They both resume their tasks. Unbeknownst to them, a circular blue flame appears in their backyard at the threshold to the forest. It shoots up into the sky like a tower. As the flame burns, it causes a subtle vibration to the house.
Is that the HVAC guy?
What?
Do you feel that? It feels like a car's pulled up.
Can't feel anything. I'm sitting on the toilet. Wait a second. Oh, the nut's reverse threaded. God.
Can you at least check?
I've almost got this.
We need heat this winter.
Wait a second.
I'll check.
IZZY sets a box down. Her little Jenga organization collapses and she loses all her work. Her head slumps into her hands and she storms from the room. The backyard blue flame and vibrations stop.
He left.
She goes to the bathroom.
He left.
Who left?
The HVAC guy.
I know.
And you did nothing?
I let him do his job.
I lost all my work to rush and meet him.
The HVAC guy came and went this morning when you were still sleeping.
No, he didn't.
You're right. I'm choosing this to lie about.
Then who just drove up?
I don't know. Probably wrong house. Obviously didn't come up and knock like reasonable people.
What did the HVAC guy say?
Replaced the thermostat.
Did he give you an estimate for an all-new system, ducts and all?
Said our outside unit worked, but the ducts under the house were shot. Like thousands of dollars to replace.
What was the exact estimate?
What?
How many thousands of dollars?
I don't know. Just had me sign an invoice for the work and he took off. He said call them back to get a proper estimate on the ductwork.
The whole reason for his visit was to get an estimate.
You didn't tell me that. You just said watch out for the HVAC guy.
Why else would he be coming?
Well, he replaced the thermostat and I assumed that's what you arranged.
Where's the receipt?
You said it was digital.
And?
You made the appointment. Check your inbox.
IZZY checks her phone.
He charged $350?
What?
Did you sign for this?
He gave me a little digital thing and I signed. He was here maybe 30 minutes.
And
I didn't think it'd be more than what you arranged or what they quoted or whatever.
how could you let this happen?
Me, I trusted you.
How could you not look at the receipt?
Maybe if you weren't sleeping in, you could have talked to him.
I shouldn't need to be awake to make sure we don't get ripped off.
He talked to you and he was doing what he was supposed to.
We don't have this kind of money.
I told you, I didn't know he charged us that much.
IZZY starts dialing.
What are you doing?
I'm calling Carolina Comfort to get a refund. Can you check on the cat, please?
Stu walks to the door that reads, "Keep this door shut," and steps inside. The room is bare except some cat toys, food, water, and a big cardboard box marked Houdini the cat. Stu flops down in front of the box and plays with the shy kitty.
Hey, Houdini. Still hiding? Hmm?
Hi, yes, this is Isabella Dumfrey. You had a tech out this morning? Yes. Yes, that's right. There seems to have been a mistake as we were charged $350 for... Well, I'm not actually sure.
Oh, I know, Houdini. It's been a rough move.
Yes, my husband did sign, but he... Stu!
You have this whole room to yourself till the house is safe, and then...
Stu!
What?
The tech didn't go over any of the costs before he signed, correct?
That's correct.
Yes, I made the appointment. That is correct. I asked for an estimate to get our entire HVAC replaced. Our thermostat did need to be replaced. Yes, he did that. No, we did not ask him. Did you ask him to replace anything? Stu!
Oh! I'm sorry for yelling, kitty baby. I'm sorry.
Excuse me? No, what does that mean? That's how we do things down here in the Carolinas. Oh, then how did you mean it? Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Izzy mutes her phone.
Stu, get out here.
I'm playing with the cat.
Get out here, please.
I've got to go, honey. We'll have the house cat safe soon so you can run around, right?
Okay, you shut Houdini's door tight, right? Good. Can you please Google how much that thermostat is? Retail?
Stu inspects the thermostat and Googles.
No. Yeah, you're right. No, we're not from around here. We recently moved here from New York. Yes, we're one of those. Oh no, and in New York, a technician trades on their skill set and doesn't have to rely on cheap tricks to mark up their fee. I agreed to an $85 site visit to get an estimate on an HVAC replacement. I mean, personally, I think that's high, but I believe you when you say HVAC technicians get away with high markups in this neck of the woods. But you can't slip this past me. My husband did not agree to... Stu!
Right here.
You didn't agree to the thermostat replacement, right?
No.
Your tech just up and swapped out the thermostat and then charged us $350. Ah, okay, so that's why.
Why?
That's apparently a really super expensive thermostat. This nice lady from Carolina Comfort says it's worth hundreds of dollars. Well, Stu, how much does it actually cost?
$65.
It costs $65? Plus the $85 for the site visit, that's only $150. You charge another $200. You are what's wrong with America. Your greed is just... Look, I don't want this to be any more of a hassle than it already is. I will take a rebate instead of a refund. Yes. Yes, for $200. I realize that, but here's one thing I do know for sure. No matter how red this state may be, I can't imagine a small claims court judge would side with you over us on this matter. That means this whole affair would go on for months, you'd have to show up in court, and then you'd have to pay me back at least the full $350, whereas you could just rebate me the $200 now, and we call it a day. Yeah. Okay? Okay. Thank you.
She hangs up.
Good work.
Why do you make me feel bad on days like today?
What did I say?
When I was trying to figure out what happened, you said maybe if you weren't sleeping in.
I didn't mean anything by it.
Some days I put it in my mind that I'm going to get everything done, that I'm going to do everything I need to do, that you need me to do. And then I get overwhelmed, and then I crash, and then I sleep in.
It's not my fault you can't make simple to-do lists.
It is your fault that you can't give me any space and breathe down my neck to get unimportant shit done.
Your two modes are overwhelmed and accomplishing nothing, or crashing and accomplishing nothing. I don't see how my breathing factors into either of those two realities.
No, you're right, it's all me. My exhaustion is my fault. But you know why? Because I have decision fatigue. I'm the one who makes the appointments and the dates and the decisions, me. I mean, we'd still be in New York and broke if things were left up to you.
It's April. I'm not convinced this pandemic is going to last that long. And if work had returned, we'd be fine and not have to upend our lives.
We barely had any lives to upend.
Well, look, now you managed to move us closer to your family.
I wanted to move back to North Carolina because it's an election year, and down here my vote can actually count.
Look, world, Izzy wants you to know she's a do-gooder.
What good were we doing in NYC? Furloughed? I mean, here we can save money, pay into a home we own, and yes, do more than post on Twitter and Facebook about the awful state of our country.
I never use social media to validate my conscience anyway.
Oh, I know you don't.
What's that supposed to mean?
I think you know.
Right. My old Rust Belt background means I'm secretly a Republican. Listen, if I were to vote red, I'd be far more likely to do it to spite you than anything else. That was a joke, really. Look, I'm just saying it's April 23rd. I'm still processing things, and I don't just mean, our recent move. Our lives look totally different than they did a year ago. And
You're right. Our lives did look totally different a year ago.
Stu retreats silently back to the toilet.
Stu, I'm sorry. Really. How's the toilet?
coming along. Having skills as an electrician didn't exactly translate to plumbing like I'd hope.
You're doing great.
Stu twists something wrong, and a geyser of water spouts up and hits him in the face.
How are the boxes coming along?
What?
Boxes. How are they, stacking?
They're not. It's baffling.
It's the foundation.
The foundation's fine.
North Carolina's climate is subtropical. It's wet and moist.
Ooh, don't say moist.
This house was abandoned for what, 10 years?
12.
It was a small country home that the world forgot.
The time forgot.
Originally built in the 40s, I believe. All that time, the earth has gotten wet and moist, damp. It's caused the foundation to sink in spots.
Good Lord. We didn't have enough to fix.
Honestly, the foundation is the least of our problems.
Everything needs a good foundation.
House that stood this long isn't going to collapse just yet. We need to worry about the roof and the plumbing first. Get this place survivable in the short term, then worry about long-term problems.
You want to take a break from the bathroom and stack some boxes with me?
Sure.
They walk back to the bedroom and start stacking boxes.
This is so dumb.
This is what happens when you downsize.
Don't say we're downsizing.
Our place in Brooklyn was definitely larger. I mean, we were in a 2-bedroom and,
We didn't downsize because of the move.
I didn't mean, I know. I just meant we had more storage space in NY. Things will be better once we have a basement.
Until then, we're back to stacking boxes in the corner of our bedroom.
I've got an idea. If we can't predict how they'll sit or if they'll tip, then it's best if we secure them. I've got some tie line. I'll make makeshift straps.
Will the straps hold?
Sure. Let's get the rest of these stacked, and then you press them against the wall.
They press 3 towers of boxes against the wall.
Good. Tight. Tighter.
They are tight.
They've got to be taut against the wall. Put all your weight.
I am pushing with all of my weight.
Keep it steady.
Stu leaves Izzy to hold back the 3 towers from tipping as he grabs some tie line and 2 eye hooks to make straps.
Please hurry, I can feel them slipping.
Almost there.
They are going to tip.
Almost there.
Watch out.
Hold on to them.
They're too heavy.
The boxes spill over. The spill tosses both Izzy and Stu flying.
God damn it.
This is what I've been telling you. You left me to do this all
You're
the
right.
time. What?
You're right.
About what?
This was much harder a task than I thought, and I left you alone to do it, and I'm sorry.
I mean,
Please remember, next time we fight, that there are occasions when I can say you're right and I'm wrong.
good Lord. I'm fine. Just get this picked up.
It looks like some contents spilled out.
They start picking up the boxes and returning their contents. Stu closely reads some papers that fell out.
Dear Isabella, I often think of our passion late at night.
Put those down.
Isabella, my love, the taste of you lingers.
Please stop.
Isabella, last night,
Stop.
you're right, I can't even read this one. How many of these do you have?
Enough.
Looks like plenty of different handwritings too.
Sure is.
Why keep these? I want to know, huh? Why am I getting hit in the head with a box filled with old love letters?
I guess, I kept all of these love letters because I never knew if the day would come.
They would come what?
When I needed to be reminded that I was once loved.
That's cute. Like, I don't love you.
You never wrote me love letters.
But you doubt I love you.
I didn't expect you to be jealous.
Jealous? Jealous? You think I'm jealous?
Irrational husband, angry at discovery of wife's old lover.
No. Let's think. Let's stop and think. Why? Why would I maybe feel a little stoned?
Stu, stop.
Maybe because we have limited space here in this new North Carolina home. Precious little space. Yet we're making space for these. No, it's not just that. It's that you threw away all our little boy's cards and letters and drawings, all of them. And you didn't ask me. You didn't even bother to ask me. You just up and did it.
I didn't need your permission.
You shouldn't have thrown them away.
He was gone, all right? He was dead, and they reminded me of a son I wasn't getting back. You throw this in my face from time to time like I'm suddenly going to be remorseful about it. I'm not. I threw them all away, and I'm glad I did. I'd rather see a box filled with letters from the men I fucked than a box of my dead little boy's crayon drawings. Instead of showing some remorse over a card, maybe you should feel some remorse over...
Or what? Finish the sentence.
I think it's enough that I'm thinking it.
I just wish I had one letter. Father's Day. Our last Father's Day letter he wrote. I love Daddy the mostest.
That's the one I threw away first.
I'd give anything to have it back. Anything to have that one sweet letter back.
Lights out. Scene 2, April 23rd, later that day. Evening. Izzy in the cat's room talking to Houdini. Stu is making dinner.
Dreamt of my son last night. It was a very vivid dream. Like time travel. I could go back in time and be in that moment. I almost wrote about it in my journal when I woke up. Decided to watch TV and drink some coffee instead. The sense of loss was too strong. Dream was too present. Too of the now, like my role as a mother was alive in the past and alive in the present, uninterrupted. I have that dream every night, and I pray I can forget it every morning, but instead, as the day lingers, I wash myself in the detail of it all. I hold that dream up before me and inspect it. I let the memories it brings wash over me. When you're forced to remember when all you want to do is forget, you can be damn sure having the little tokens of a dead son laying around don't do you any good.
Dinner's ready.
I love you, Houdini. We'll have the house ready for you soon to roam about.
Izzy joins Stu for dinner.
This smells delicious.
Should we circle back to the divorce conversation?
Sure. Is there any new insight or information?
I don't know.
Then let's go through it.
Can we go through it in reverse emotional order? Like start with the practical and deal with the emotional later?
For sure. Before the pandemic hit, we were both working in NYC. I was a stage manager, and you were an electrician. Our son had just died in June. We were barely able to put him in the ground before we had to figure this all out.
Yeah.
You have no family money or anyone to turn to, whereas my family lives in Raleigh and have resources if we hit dire straits. We don't have the ability to predict when our work will return. Divorce, if necessary, must wait, because neither of us have the resources to survive alone.
You make it sound so...
I'm serious.
I didn't finish my thought.
No slurs, no fighting.
I don't want to fight.
I'm not doing you a favor.
I wasn't going to say doing me a favor.
If we divorced without your savings, we know that how I'd have to move back in with my parents, and there's no fucking chance that that's happening. We have to visit them tomorrow, by the way.
What?
Wait.
You
Before we start fighting about that,
tell me.
I did.
You did not.
Can we at least finish our rational, lovely conversation about divorce?
I was going to say, you make this all sound so antiseptic.
It is. Without your resources, I'd be fucked. Without my resources, you'd be fucked. And why North Carolina?
Besides the fact you wanted to find a state where your vote counts.
That's right, my vote didn't count in New York, but it will here.
And besides the fact that your family lives in North Carolina.
If we ever do need to ask them for money, they'll be more prone to give it if I'm kissing their ass in person.
Well, they need to see their return on investment.
Correct. All that aside, we're here because we found a derelict house in rural nowhere that we bought for $17,000. No mortgage. And if we fix it up, we'll have some soft income from an Airbnb or whatever. We'd actually get ahead.
Now the emotional stuff. Treating a worldwide pandemic like our anchor baby.
Yeah, I guess we are. I guess millions of people right now are figuring out if they truly love the person they're sheltered at home with.
It's rough enough to have someone up your ass 24/7 without the baggage we're bringing.
At least we're in the same boat as a lot of people. It behooves us to try in the short term. If we can keep from hating each other long enough to stick to our plan, we'll be okay.
I don't hate you. Not today.
And I don't hate you. Not today. Should we fight about my parents now?
No.
What?
No, it's fine. Maybe you did tell me. That's not an admission. I'm just saying it's not worth it.
I did tell you.
Even if you did, you didn't remind me or tell me recently.
I guess that's true.
That's why I'm not mad at you.
It doesn't track like it used to.
True. Time dilates as we get older, and neither of us are spring chickens.
At least for me, I don't measure time by minutes and hours anymore. Measure it by big feelings and the toll they take. It doesn't matter if you're happy or miserable, just big feelings.
Time does seem to pass with less and less notice.
I reverse engineer my life based on big events and big feelings.
I think we get trained to think that way because of school. From a young age, I paid attention to what grade I was in, not what year it was.
I remember my first kiss. I remember how it felt, who I was with. And yeah, what grade I was in.
Exactly.
I bet this is why people have trouble envisioning a better future.
Explain.
When we were younger, we had so many experiences that were ahead of us, not behind us. Now it's like there aren't a lot of surprises left.
Does a pandemic count?
I don't know. I think the pandemic was just a catalyst that put whatever trajectory everyone was already on in overdrive. By everything stopping, you had to actually stop and think about where you were. Now that I've stopped, all the accumulated hurt has taken its toll, worn me down.
Maybe there's something worth looking forward to. Or more big feelings that are good.
Nanny's birth. Even if we tried to have another kid, had that first big feeling, I can never have it again. Having my first child.
Danny's death. I mean, God forbid. So long as we don't have another child die, that's the only time we'll feel that big feeling.
For some feelings, once should be enough, because twice would feel like forever.
They set their food down and reach for each other's hands across the table.
I can't believe you paid the HVAC guy $350.
And I can't believe I have to see your uppity, rich-ass family tomorrow.
Oh, this again. More resentment from the white working class.
Is that a joke?
The mindset is what matters, and I hate that you've embraced it.
That's a new one. I love it. You telling me about my whiteness. Oh, are you gonna start crying now?
I always cry when we fight.
I'm shocked you don't save it for tomorrow so you can perform a quiet, dignified cry in front of your parents.
You know better. I never cry. Ugh. I never fight with you in public.
I didn't say in public. I said in front of your parents.
You do love to try and get me to fight with you out in the open.
Maybe I do.
I hate you for it, too. You know I'm an ugly crier. I'd be damned if I let people see me broken down and ugly.
I like when other people think you're ugly. Wait, no, I mean, come on, that doesn't even make any sense.
It makes perfect sense. It ties into every part of who you are, even how you I was your stage manager.
That's crazy.
You're such a tech goon, brute, base, mad because I could do a great job and look good doing it.
I didn't mean it, okay?
You said exactly what you meant.
The towering blue inferno erupts. The subtle vibration accompanies it.
Jesus.
What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Is it a gas line?
No,
How do you know?
because there are no gas lines out here.
Yes, there are.
All our appliances are electric. We don't have gas here. We just pay for water and electric.
Are you sure?
Have you ever looked at the stove?
I don't cook.
Well, I know it.
It's gotta be some kind of gas.
I'll go check.
The hell you will. We're gonna call 911 or the fire department.
Just wait.
Stu steps outside.
You smell that?
Smell what?
Nothing. There's no smell. Gas would have a smell.
Stay away from it.
Relax. This isn't a gas fire.
Don't touch it.
I'm not. I just want to check one more thing.
Stu walks back inside.
And?
There's no heat.
Could be some kind of bizarre fracking accident.
Could be.
Why are you not freaking out? And why are we not calling someone?
The fire stops.
It comes and goes, apparently.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I don't know. I just know it isn't gas.
But how?
Stick your head outside. You'll not smell anything and it'll be cold.
Izzy sticks her head out.
Shit, it is cold. The wind is hateful.
Those things that could cause this kind of fire, gas, fracking, they have a smell and you can feel the heat.
Let's call 911.
How about we Google it before we call 911?
You're sure it's not a threat?
I don't want cops coming out and thinking we city mice can't manage out here. I want more folks like the HVAC guy sniffing around.
Fine, I'll Google it.
It's like I'd screw up Googling, for Christ's sake.
Now, here we go. All right. A blue flame means complete combustion. It indicates that the gas is being burned efficiently without any unburned or wasted gas and generates maximum heat output. Shit.
See? Should have felt heat.
I guess it could be a weather phenomenon, like an aurora borealis.
What's today's date?
April 23rd. Why?
If it's some kind of weird Carolinian aurora borealis, then it's got something to do with the date, right?
Yes.
Like the position of Earth's axis or something.
Now, all I get is that today is St. George's Day.
Huh.
What?
St. George's Day.
Who gives a fuck? There's a fire in our backyard.
Huh.
You already said that. What is it?
Something I remember. An old superstition.
Of course.
Stu is Googling.
Are you going to explain it?
Circle of blue flame. And St. George's Day, the fire indicates buried treasure. Don't laugh.
I guarantee you there isn't treasure out there.
Could be.
It's stupid.
I'm gonna dig.
No.
No?
No, Stu, we're in the middle of nowhere. No neighbors in shouting distance. This isn't NYC where an ambulance could be here in 5 minutes. Look, it's cute that you think some kind of weird mystical fire is in our backyard, but it's also not, all right? And whatever it is, let it wait until the morning. We can call an expert to come and check it out.
Izzy, if there's treasure down there, then all our problems will be solved.
No, they won't.
No, they won't. But we'll be a lot better off.
This conversation is over. You dig that up and a gas main explodes and... This is such a dumb argument. No. Leave it until an expert can fix it.
Lights out. Scene 3, April 23rd, a little before midnight. It's pitch black outside. Izzy is sleeping in the bedroom. Stu is lightly sleeping on the couch in the living room. Stu gets up.
You hungry, honey?
He grabs some cat food.
You're a big eater for such a tiny cat. Yeah, I can't sleep either. Had a bad day. I didn't want to have a bad day. I fight with myself to have better days. Try to dream about a better life, to visualize it. I just can't. Can't imagine the mechanics of it all, what my life would look like within happiness. I feel unwelcome within happiness. That changed when I met Izzy. When we built our family. I didn't see my family in a dream or vision board it into reality. It just happened. Miraculously. And then it was whisked away. I've been pummeled each day since.
Meow.
Moving to North Carolina, this little dream she and I have of building this house, building an Airbnb, being self-sufficient. It was the first glimpse of happiness I'd had in a good long while, but today was truly my first day of utter despair here in NC. I guess that's a good thing. Had the spell broken. Maybe I should just succumb to the despair. After all, I am seeing her family tomorrow.
Meow.
No, you're right. I can't. There's a devil on my shoulder, maybe the devil, and he tempts me into thinking the best of times are behind me instead of ahead. I may not be able to see it, may not be able to envision the mechanics of it. I just need to have faith.
Yeah. The towering blue inferno erupts. The vibrations knock Stu over. Izzy doesn't stir, but Stu walks outside. He grabs a nearby shovel and heads toward the pillar of fire. He studies it. He sticks his hand in it. No injury. He steps into the flame and starts to dig. After a few shovels worth, he sees something.
My God.
An arm extends and passes Stu a crayon drawing. In bright, bold letters, it reads, "I love my daddy the mostest. Father's Day 2019. The arm has a wound behind the elbow and a red streak extending up towards the shoulder from the wound. Lights out. Scene 4, April 24th, morning. Stu and Izzy are entering the house from their front door. Izzy is noticeably well dressed. Stu is wearing a jeans and jacket combo, but to his credit, he is wearing a tie.
I wish you would have told me your brother was going to be there.
Well, actually, I did tell you he was going to be there.
Well, actually, your whole family are all know-it-alls. I think you could give me a break.
I'll give you a break when I'm wrong about something.
Don't have such contempt for me.
Oh, it goes both ways.
Brother. If he wasn't your kin, I'd probably rip his throat out.
He's not that bad.
He tells me, you're a good guy. You know, you're a good guy like you.
Only you could see a slur in a compliment.
He tells me I'm a good guy because he thinks I'm shit. Like he's trained himself to say it instead of saying, you're a loser and you ruined my sister's life.
It's all in your head.
Note how he brags about treating service industry workers?
Those are virtues.
Like the people who make his salad could give a shit about his smug face. They're people too, you know. I treat them like people.
People like Jeremy. He is a people person.
People person my ass. He's a trust fund baby who acts like he's better than everyone who works for a living.
He's not that bad.
You don't even like him.
He's a little pompous, but he's my brother.
The fact that he was bragging about coding.
It's his job.
He does not have a job.
He's volunteering with an election in Virginia.
Of course he is.
He doesn't have to work. I think it's noble.
Who am I kidding? Jeremy's probably spending all day playing video games.
You're calling my brother a liar?
I guess so.
I wish I could be a human lie detector.
It's not hard with him. All you have to do is stare into those piggish little eyes.
He's my twin brother.
I know when you're lying too.
My eyes are not piggish.
Izzy slams her foot and it breaks some old plywood.
Fuck.
Stu rushes over, helps her up, and inspects the wood.
Jesus, are you okay?
I'm fine.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault. It's the foundation again.
No, this is good old-fashioned wood rot.
It doesn't look that bad.
It's rotted from the bottom up.
Stu rips off some rotted wood and shows her how it looks totally normal on the floor side and is totally rotted on the side facing the ground. Stu grabs a crowbar, a hammer, and some nails. He takes off his jacket and tie and gets to work prying up the old wood.
Da-da-da-da-da. Then I go from brunch bourgeois to productive proletariat.
Jeans and a jacket do not constitute dressing up for Sunday brunch.
What do I know? Never been to brunch.
We've been to plenty of Sunday brunches.
With our friends in New York at some shitty overpriced restaurant.
It's the same thing. My family is just a tad more proper.
Jesus. For one visit, you even start to sound like them.
I do not.
It's fine. Now's the time to embrace your upper class background.
I don't know why you're in such a bad mood.
I'm not. I think today's visit went exceptionally well. You just want to fight.
Oh, I so don't.
Yes, you do. I complied today. I kissed your family's ass, and now you've got nothing to complain about.
It's very out of character that you complied.
Now you're mad at me for doing what you want.
And understand, I'm not in a place where I want to hear you talk shit about my family.
Why not?
Because I don't want to resent them on top of having to ask them for money.
We don't know if we'll need to ask them for money.
Oh, we will.
They said they'd help if the house wasn't renovated by December. We'll have this house fixed by late summer, and we'll have our Airbnb set up by fall. By winter, we won't need their money, and everything will be fine.
Just like that. Everything will be fine.
Yep.
Okay, Nostradamus, what if the house renovations cost more than what little we have left in savings?
We've both still got unemployment.
Which doesn't last forever.
Who knows what life will look like in a few months?
See, that's the difference between people who make good decisions with money and bad decisions with money. I look at the uncertainty of the next few months and prepare for the worst. You look at them and hope for the best.
That's right. I do.
You've been like this all day.
Like what?
Weirdly optimistic.
I just have faith. I have faith things will work out.
What did you dig up in the backyard?
Stu stops working.
You asked me that first thing in the morning, and you asked me on our way to your parents. Now, for the third time, nothing.
Can't believe you dug when I specifically asked you not to.
Couldn't sleep.
You didn't dig your little hole and find a pot of gold? No buried treasure?
Despite not being superstitious and accusing me for being a hick because I am superstitious, now you're convinced I what? Went outside, dug a hole, and found magical buried treasure?
We're up to something, and I know it's got something to do with that fire.
Up to something. That's your mother talking.
I've always wondered what you'd do if you came into money.
And?
You'd keep it from me.
Again, hi, Mom.
No, she said that you'd get rid of me.
She's watching too many ID discovery shows. When I come into a landfall, you'll be the first to know. Your mom, a very close second.
Actually, it's called windfall.
Stu rips up a piece of plywood.
There is something that you are not telling me.
Stu keeps working.
Will you please stop working and come up here so I can yell at you on my level?
Fine.
Stu goes to stand up out of the hole and cuts the back of his arm as he gets out.
Jesus.
What?
You cut yourself?
I did?
Stu turns his arm and head a few times to try and inspect the wound, but it's right above the elbow on his left arm. He reaches and feels the blood. Izzy has grabbed the first aid kit.
It's not bad. We can keep fighting if you want.
Don't be an asshole. Just sit down.
It's really not a big deal.
What did you cut it on anyway?
Looks like a stupid nail.
Is that blood or rust all over it?
Maybe a little of both.
Should we go to the doctor?
It's barely a scratch.
I don't know. Can't you get tetanus or something?
I'm cleaning and dressing the wound. It barely broke the skin.
It's bleeding a lot for something minor.
It's fine.
You had your tetanus shot, right?
For sure.
As an adult?
What?
I thought that I read that adults need to get vaccinated.
I think once you're vaccinated as a kid, that's all you need.
Should we Google it?
I don't think vaccinations can wear off.
I'm pretty sure that they say adults need to get shots too. Don't laugh at me.
It's not that. It's sweet to see you worried about me.
Don't get used to it, Buster. Just want to keep you alive so I can torture you into telling me what you found last night.
Honey, in life, as our relationships evolve, so do our instincts for narrative. We all do it. Paranoia comes into play because we humans try to figure out all the furtive little things happening around us.
Maybe, but there's nothing more cruel than telling someone they're paranoid and then later that person turns out to be right.
What if I did find something?
I knew it.
Wait, I didn't strike oil or discover a pot of gold. What if it wasn't money or treasure?
Like what? Some Kevin Costner, if you build it, they will come voice in a cornfield bullshit?
Yes, exactly like that.
Maybe I want some spiritual, mystical experience where I meet God in my backyard.
I'm no expert, but I have a feeling it won't work with that attitude.
A realistic attitude?
A faithless attitude.
Faith in what? God?
I don't know, Izzy. I really don't. Just faith in something out there.
How can I get it?
Wait, no joke?
It's hard to. Let me think about how I want to say this. Some part of me believes you. I don't know if you've had some like woo-woo kumbaya thing happen to you, or you had a vision because you inhaled too much natural gas, or something extraordinary happened. But it's an experience that I wish something like that could happen to me.
I do too. Just wish you didn't have a full year to wait.
Maybe I don't.
St. George's Day is the 23rd, and it was last night.
Well, actually, St. George's Day comes more than once a year.
I didn't know that.
I read it last night in my Googling session. Christians celebrate it April 23rd, but Eastern Orthodox celebrate it May 6th, and Muslims celebrate it November 23rd.
May 6th isn't that far away.
Between now and then, maybe you can help me open up to whatever's out there.
I can try.
And I can find my own buried treasure.
No pot of gold buried treasure.
Any chance it could be something physical? Material?
Could be.
And if you did dig something up out there, hypothetically, what do you think it would have been?
You don't want to know.
See, and that's the attitude that's kept me poking and prodding you this whole time.
Meaning you don't want a similar experience.
I do.
Uh-huh.
Hypothetically, if it was some material thing that the universe wanted to reward you with, what do you think it would be?
Hypothetically? My Father's Day card.
You'll never let me live it down.
It's not about you.
I hope by some miracle I see that card again.
Really?
because I'd burn it this time rather than throw it in the trash.
End of scene. Scene 5, April 24th, evening. Izzy is cradling Houdini like a baby.
No, we got you, Houdini. Never said it out loud, but we both knew it. You're a test. You're apparently too stupid and too irresponsible to have a child. You're a little test to see if we could ever be parents again.
Meow.
You don't know what happened, do you?
Meow. As Izzy tells her story, the lights fade in and around the house. Simultaneously, the lights of the nightly forest grow. First, stars pierce the black. Then the moon is visible through the trees. Slowly, the eyes of the forest creatures shine in parliament over her.
Danny died in June of last year. It's not even been a year. I guess I'm thankful it happened before the pandemic, because at least we got to bury him without any trouble. We were out having dinner. out celebrating. Danny was just old enough to transition to proper meals. Nothing fancy. Basic spaghetti. It was the goddamn garlic bread. Toasted hard and brittle and mean. Grabbed a piece and swallowed it before we could stop him. My son started choking on garlic bread. Fear and panic in his little eyes as he looked at me. It's like my dreams. It's ever present. Because eyes are in the air around me. He was muted, but he was saying, "Mommy, help me. Mommy, help me." Stu knew the Heimlich maneuver, and I'll be damned if he didn't get Danny to cough up a little bit of bread. I remember this. I remember the restaurant clapping. Can you believe that? They applauded. And we resumed our meal like idiots. Instead of rushing him to the hospital, we went back to eating like pigs. Like monsters. Didn't take long. Danny coughed some more. Spotted his back and placated him with smiles. In retrospect, I can tell he was pretending to be okay because he could see how happy we all were. He was coughing up blood. We missed it because of the goddamn spaghetti sauce. In one final convulsion, he coughed up a gush of red fluid and keeled over, and we all rushed to it, but it was basically a done deal. Stomach full of pasta, I watched as my son drowned in his own blood. When Stu gave him the Heimlich, he broke one of his ribs, which punctured his lungs. I mean, the authorities say it's shockingly easy to do. It wasn't even like Stu was squeezing like a madman when he did the Heimlich. It was all just perfect. He squeezed just a little too hard. The broken rib jostled in just the right way to puncture the lung. We waited just a fraction too long to notice. One of those things goes different, and he's probably alive today. It was Father's Day.
Meow.
Can you help me? When I look into your eyes, I just see love and kindness. It's hard for me to give up my hate. I hate Stu, hate for the world. My God, how much I hate myself. But I'm going to remember May 6th. I'm going to remember that date, and by God, there better be a flame, and there better be a goddamn miracle.
Lights out. Scene 6. May 6th, morning. Stu is talking to Houdini. The sun rises, and the house is noticeably in better shape.
It's been a week. I need to tell her.
Meow.
It's a hard thing to explain. And I'm scared. Scared she's not going to believe me. Scared she'd think I found the Father's Day card when she threw it away and hid it all this time instead of just hiding it for a few weeks. Although, I think it's brilliant I hid it amongst her old love letters.
Meow.
Right. Fuck those letters.
Meow.
No. What do therapists call it? I'm using displacement. Father's Day card isn't the issue. St. George's Day, however many of them there are, isn't the issue. The issue is, how can we steer ourselves back? I love IZZY. I always have. Always did and will. I remember when we first started dating. Every hour, every moment I spent with her was a joy. It was a meal I could dine on over and over again and never get full. She was an oddball and weird and just perfect. I'm doing it again. Devil's wearing me down. Nostalgia, focusing on the past.
Meow.
How do I know?
Well.
My relationship with IZZY was too positive when we started. Did you ever notice how many relationships start with an inequity of feeling? Like, not just people who break up. I'm talking relationships that work. How often, really how often, do two people start dating where each person is equally into the other? Not that often. One person, even if it's a tiny bit, is more into the other person and drives the pursuit. Sometimes that seeds what will eventually be the breakup. Other times it leads to passion and romance. When I first started seeing Izzy, she acted like she was equally into me. Made me so happy. We only didn't see each other when she had issues with her Epstein-Barr. Of course, she didn't really have Epstein-Barr. She was just using it as an excuse to cheat on me. Lovers she couldn't give up once we were supposed to be official. Epstein-Barr, though, brilliant cover-up.
Izzy can be seen silently futzing with her phone and angrily tweeting. Meow.
That's right. Fuck those love letters. Past is never as good as we remember, and the present isn't as bad as we'll one day reminisce. God, it's May 6th. Please let her have her own moment, her own miracle. That'd make all this so much easier. We'd be equal and ready to move on. Wish me luck, honey. I think with a little luck, this is going to be a great day.
Stu exits the kitty's room as Izzy slams her phone down.
This is already the shittiest fucking day.
What happened?
I was reading Twitter.
Does reading Twitter ever put you in a good mood?
I need to see what they're saying.
What who is saying?
Our friends.
I don't know who or what a friend is anymore.
Don't be so melodramatic.
How many of our friends know we even moved here?
Tons. I post about it all the time.
I've not seen any emails or phone calls.
That is why I check this.
Did you call the laminate guy? We're so close to having this place done.
I got distracted.
By what?
What's trending? The usual.
You get so easily distracted by shit that doesn't affect you.
Oh, excuse me, but I think politics is something that affects us all.
I don't want to get into an argument over something stupid. Forget it.
How do you know this is stupid?
Because it's always over something stupid.
Our fights or what I'm reading on Twitter?
Pick one.
Social media is how we stay informed.
That phone incentivizes you to think hateful thoughts.
The towering blue inferno erupts. Stu and Izzy are too caught up in the fight to notice.
That is ridiculous.
You screamed at me once because I used the prayer emoji when I should have used the preach emoji.
You should know your emojis by now.
Well, I don't like watching what that stupid, poisonous phone does to you.
At least I pick my poison. Do you feel that?
They both turn to the backyard, but the fire goes away.
You don't think?
I don't know.
I mean, it would sustain if it happened again, right?
I don't think we missed the fire, Izzy.
Maybe if you weren't yelling at me over Twitter.
Reading that shit makes you anxious, then you panic, then you get overcome by it. It's all you think about.
When I could be getting more done around the house. Is that what you wanted to say?
I'm just saying maybe your so-called decision fatigue isn't from making actual choices.
We wake up every day to a civil war and a plague. I mean, I think I have a right to see what's happening.
Except this is the first civil war fought with pocketbooks and viewing habits, and the plague is...
No. I'm going to stop you before you say something you'll regret.
I'm magnanimous. Thank you for making my mind up for me. There's already enough shit ripping us apart. We have to let your phone do it too.
Yes.
All that phone feeds you, me, anyone, in our isolation is a steady diet of confirmation bias. You gorge on it because it fattens your sense of righteousness and certainty.
I guess some of us just aren't privileged enough to just bow out and turn off.
The world was a better place when I didn't know what everyone felt all the time. What they think all the time. It's like we invented these devices to make us all psychic. But that doesn't scare me. What scares me is when I look at Twitter or Facebook and all the voices accumulate and sound the same. Like a wave slowly growing on the horizon. No weight to the water, no mass. The thoughts are vacuous, busting, songy, enticing, empty, but filled with temptation. We all have to decide whether we surf the wave or not. If my capacity for critical thinking is a privilege, then I guess this is me checking it.
Such holy roller magnanimity. I mean, if I didn't have this to talk to, I'd be stuck talking to you. And nothing is more exhausting than hearing that shit.
Being cooped up is no good for you.
Being cooped up is no good for anyone.
Stu goes and grabs some caulk.
Are we done?
I have work to do.
Izzy notices a strange line on Stu's upper arm.
What's that?
What's what?
Were you resting your arm funny?
What is it?
Nothing major. It's just a funny line on your arm.
I can't see it.
Izzy touches it.
That doesn't hurt?
No?
Weird.
I'm sure it's nothing.
It doesn't look that bad. It's just kind of strange.
It's not coming from where the cut is.
Not really.
Not really or no?
I mean, your wound is basically healed, so no.
Probably a blood clot or something.
You don't smoke.
Stress.
Oh, I'm giving you a blood clot now.
I meant the house. The stress of fixing the house.
Whether you know it or not, you act like everything I do is offensive to you somehow.
I promise you, I'm not trying to antagonize you with every subtle gesture and phrase.
That's what makes what you do so cruel. I mean, sometimes it isn't directed at me, and sometimes it is. And half my exhaustion is just from deciphering which is which.
I don't mean to.
I don't believe you.
The only thing that ever truly bothered me about you was your family. And for so long, that wasn't an issue because they bothered you too.
I'm modulating my family frustrations.
And I appreciate your effort and your sympathy towards them. And I get it. I do. I get bent out of shape if someone talks shit about my mom, even if she can be a lot.
Like, a lot. A lot.
Okay, slow down.
I still can't get over my last conversation with her.
What conversation?
I forgot to tell you.
You forgot to tell me my mom called?
You should keep your phone charged.
Was everything okay?
Of course. She just wanted to let you know that Griffin's Diner was closing.
Oh, shit. Griffin's is closing?
What is with you two?
That diner was like the last vestige of my childhood town. Best hash browns in the country.
They weren't getting enough business.
Of course they weren't. That's tragic.
Oh, that's tragic? Did West Virginia even shut down?
They were doing social distancing.
That is what your mom said.
What are you getting at?
I get the feeling that you and your mom would have people die so that they could patron your stupid restaurant.
That restaurant was all that's left of a once sweet little town.
New doors open. I can all learn to code.
Like Jeremy? Wait, I'm sorry, that was unfair.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to fight about my family.
Why not? We fight about my family all the time.
Only because you feel like we owe them for money we haven't even given. They haven't even given us.
We'll need their money, and it would make me happy if you supported me a little better as I dealt with them.
That support means I need to swallow every slur and dig and insult and gulp it down with a smile?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll try harder.
I didn't really have anything bad to say about your mom.
Are you sure?
Really, I mean, I wasn't even going to say anything bad, except that she can be so
For what?
West Virginian.
Yeah, I wish I could be as ashamed that I'm from West Virginia as you are for me.
Oh, it's not the state I'm ashamed of.
Oh, then all my little Rust Belt traditional liberalisms.
Warmer.
You want things simple, easy to digest, presented in a perfect microwavable box.
Yes, if it defines a power structure that enables marginalized people to get hurt because other people won't take accountability for their actions.
You get drunk on Byzantine authoritarianism and pawning it off as goodness makes me sick.
Why can't you and your mother just say you don't want people to die?
Because anyone with a conscience doesn't want people to die.
It doesn't sound like that.
I also want people to live. And living isn't just defined by a heartbeat.
Your mom made that point too, which is funny because that's literally the definition of living. She also said people want freedom to live.
Damn right.
Oh, how American.
Goddamn right.
You seem to intimate that Griffins didn't need to close if more people had more freedom.
You like to intimate and guess and presuppose what people are thinking a lot more than just asking them to clarify it, don't you?
I don't need to clarify talking to someone who doesn't care about people dying for the sake of freedom.
The blue inferno erupts again. Again, they're too caught up fighting to notice.
More freedom is always the answer.
Your freedom puts the vulnerable at risk.
So says the great protector of the vulnerable.
Yes! And the government that I elect.
People die for safe freedom. Like my dad.
You wrote that in my face before too.
I have.
You died in the first Gulf War, and frankly, you should be on my side on the whole issue.
They both notice the blue inferno. They both do a double take. And then they both run outside as fast as they can. The fire goes away.
Damn it!
Hey, at least we know it's back.
Should I dig?
Yeah, give it a try.
Did you do anything different from last time?
I did touch the fire.
And
Dug while the fire was lit.
then it won't work.
You don't know that.
Who the fuck was St. George anyway?
Saint, a martyr, I believe.
Yeah, but a saint of what? You know, like St. Nick is the saint of children, and St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. Like, what did he do?
I don't think he did anything.
That can't be right.
Some saints are just saints. I thought you Googled all this anyway.
I didn't memorize it all. You seem to know all about him.
My mother was Pentecostal and my father was a Catholic.
Oh my god, that explains so much.
Anyway, saints are big for the Catholics. Should we go back inside?
No, it's nice out. I just want to wait.
Stu grabs some lawn chairs.
Go on about Mr. George.
Saint George was just a martyr. A Roman who converted to Christianity in the 300s. He was tortured and dragged in the streets because he refused to renounce his Christianity. That's it, really. Just a guy who suffered.
Around the year 300?
Yeah.
Funny.
Why?
Is that the year around the official beginning of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire?
I guess so. Constantine converted the Romans to Christianity in the 300s, and the empire split and kept falling apart soon after.
See a lot of parallels. We suffer. You and me.
Do you think America is in decline as well?
You?
I don't know. But if it is, I don't want the trend lines to hold true. If we are an empire and we do fall, whatever happens next is the equivalent of the Dark Ages.
But Rome also went through plenty of ups and downs for centuries. And I'm sure people thought Rome was going to fall when they saw Hannibal barreling towards them as he came out of the Alps riding a bunch of crazy elephants.
Rome not only survived Hannibal, it got even stronger.
Did you know that part of Hannibal's plan was to recruit the minority races under Roman rule on his way from Africa to Rome?
Sounds familiar.
He was trying to give voice and agency to the dispossessed and marginalized of his time.
Or picking off the easiest folks he thought he could recruit on his road to power.
Either way, he made history.
True. As a guy who almost beat Rome.
That was enough.
Agree.
This isn't so bad.
What?
Sitting outside and talking.
I want to fight less.
And
that's it. I want to see what our lives look like out here if we fight less.
just like that.
It's like we're performing pageantry for some sick, fiendish god who just wants to watch us hate each other.
I don't hate you.
I don't hate you either. Not today.
Not today. Okay.
What now?
We wait and see if the fire comes back.
What about Houdini?
We'll take turns going inside and checking on it.
Sounds good.
I'll go check on the little guy first.
Izzy goes to Houdini. She picks him up and cradles him like a baby.
What do you think? Can we pull it off?
Meow.
I can still be with Stu. When I was younger, when Stu first courted me, I was in a place where I'd go out with someone just because they were attracted to me. That was enough. Like, that feeling made me feel like I owed them something, like I had to reciprocate. But not Stu. Dude liked me, actually liked being around me. These days I don't like being around me, but he still does. Pandemic as an anchor baby was a terrible idea, but I guess there's something more than convenience that made us stick together and give this a try out here. Can't be with someone for convenience or loneliness, neither can he. So deep down I feel that goodness. Part of me hates it. I do let hateful thoughts consume me. Stu has it backwards, though. I don't get them from Twitter. Twitter gives me a place to vent them. And contempt, scorn, enmity, these are a lot easier to deal with than love. I've known love. Deep, passionate, unabiding love. Unconditional love. My son. No other relationship will get out of the shadow of that feeling. But it doesn't need to be a curse.
Meow.
You're a good cat.
Scene 7, May 6th evening. It's later.
What time is it?
Late,
When did it appear last time?
close to midnight, I think.
It's past 11.
I know.
Getting anxious.
Don't.
What if it doesn't appear?
It will. How's Houdini?
Good.
Do you have anything to say?
That's between me and Houdini.
I get it. Talking to him is like a confessional.
Something like that.
Maybe something more.
More how?
Conduit to God. What's funnier, that I believe in God or that I believe I could be talking to him through a cat?
Our brains are funny things.
That's true.
Did you know that we still have the reptile part of our brain? Our brains mirror how we evolved. So the reptile part is right above the brain stem. On top is the mammal part, and on top of that, all the really spongy looking stuff is the human part.
I got it.
And the reptile part governs aggression and fear.
Isn't that the part of the brain that also governs territoriality, ritual, and social hierarchy?
Yes.
Makes sense.
What's your point?
I'm agreeing with you.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
I'm just agreeing that the reptile part of our brain governs our most animalistic and base feelings.
You had to add territoriality and social hierarchy,
I did.
implying that I let those take over my thoughts.
What part of the brain controls paranoia?
You know what you're doing.
I'm sorry, really. Please continue.
Forget it.
I want to hear where this was going.
You should have thought of that before derailing me.
It wasn't deliberate.
Sure it was.
Please, I wanted to hear your story.
We really can't help ourselves, can we?
And I legit was on pins and needles.
Fine. I was trying to say something about how we fear the unknown. We can't help it. We're supposed to. It's part of our evolution.
And?
I've been seeing things in the woods.
Like what?
I don't know.
Well, I want to hear more.
It started a few nights ago. I woke up and looked out the bedroom window. For whatever reason, I saw something. The edge of the forest.
Must have been a night I was on the couch.
I saw a figure looking at me, but they were obscured by leaves.
Did it look like a person?
No, it was a fleshy, beige thing. When I grabbed the flashlight and shined, all I saw were leaves and branches.
Could it have been your imagination?
I saw it again a different night. It was on a branch this time. It looked like a swollen blister, fleshy, pink.
Now I understand why you were afraid.
It was part of that reptile part of our brain. I don't know if it is out there, if it's anything, but I'm afraid.
Sometimes I think that reptile part of our brains can't distinguish fear from awe. It's totally possible something is out there and it's in no way a threat to us.
Something?
Something preternatural.
Maybe.
You've made fun of me for so many years for being superstitious
I have.
and for still being a little religious.
Also true.
What you're saying is teetering into that territory.
Maybe.
Think about tonight. Right after the sun set, the darkness of the forest was thick and immutable. No shade. No deep purples or cascading blues, just forever black. And the splendor and glory of the moon crept at the edge and made its way overhead.
Whatever part of my brain, all our brains, that sees God and magic in the world, it's the goodness I don't understand.
It's like that old joke from Seinfeld.
What?
When Jerry asks George, "I thought you didn't believe in God." And George replies, "I do for the bad stuff."
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm like that. I don't want to be, but I get why people invented curses, like why a scorned lover in some ancient Greek tragedy could believe Athena or Zeus or some outside force decided they'd never love again. But I stop there. I can't get past the mystery of the pain to see the mystery in anything else.
But mystery is powerful.
Yes.
The reptile part of our brains makes us fearful of the monsters watching over us. But that has nothing to do with what the monsters want. Maybe whatever is out there is scary, but not bad.
It could be bad. It's good to be afraid of the things in the forest.
I mean, mystery aside, there's nothing to be afraid of out there.
How do you know?
For starters, I've walked into the woods.
You said it was unsafe to go into the woods alone.
That was just the city mouse in me talking.
You definitely said it was unsafe to go without saying something beforehand.
True, I should have told you.
What if you had gotten attacked by a bear or fell into a ditch of spikes or...
It's the forest. It's not the background for the game Pitfall.
I'm just telling you what you told me.
I was afraid until I confronted that fear.
It's smart to be afraid.
To an extent,
Fear makes us careful.
fear can be crippling.
A less offensive way to say that is that fear makes you overly cautious.
Fear makes you overly sensitive.
I often wonder if you confuse sensitivity with sensibility.
There's a logical relationship between fear and sensibility as well. It's not great to be overly sensible either.
How the fuck can you be overly sensible?
Murphy's Law. Something can happen, it will happen. No matter how much you plan, sometimes you just have to take action, do something, take a risk.
And maybe if you had been overly sensible, you'd have waited for someone else to perform the Heimlich maneuver, someone who knew what they were doing.
It was my fault.
Izzy looks at her watch.
Fuck. It's after midnight. Why am I out here waxing philosophical about gods and forests and bullshit?
It was.
Was what?
It was an accident, but it's still my fault. Please don't give up.
Don't give up on what?
Something could happen tonight.
Bullshit.
I know it's after midnight, but something could happen.
How? How do you know that?
Because I have faith that it could.
Faith isn't good enough.
Stu heads inside.
Where are you going?
Gonna go check on Houdini.
Stu goes to Houdini.
Will she believe if I show her the card?
No.
Why am I scared to show her?
No.
When I was a kid, my mother drilled something into me. She called her evening out principle. Her philosophy was that the universe will punish you if you're too happy or too joyful. The idea is that if something really good happens in your life, then something bad will happen to even it out. I think this logic helped her make sense of the world when my dad died, when I was just a baby.
I'm not waiting out here anymore.
I'm scared to show her the letter. One part of me says it'll help her remember the love she had for our son. Another part makes me pause, but can't keep it a secret forever. And if she sees it, maybe, I just don't know.
Meow.
You're right. Either way, it's a secret, and those are bad. I'll tell her.
Stu retrieves the Father's Day card. Izzy comes inside and sees him in her letters.
What are you doing?
Look, I need to show you this.
Stu shows her the Father's Day card.
How the fuck do you have this?
It was what I dug up in the fire.
Bullshit.
No, it's true. It can happen again.
You've had it this whole time.
No, since April. It's been such a peace of mind. Maybe death isn't oblivion. Maybe
That is a rotten thing to say to me.
it has nothing to do with you.
Pretty rotten thing to say at all.
What?
Peace of mind? If you're granted the privilege of waking up any morning not frozen with profound grief, I think you should keep it to yourself.
I can't control if I wake up in despair. If I wake up with even a fraction of peace, I can anchor myself to it, use it, start my day. This card brought me.
That is what this is about, being productive?
No, it's about thinking ahead instead of in reverse.
Stu really flails his arm when he shouts.
For me, the morning after every morning since the sun has risen in hell.
You say that as if I'm not in hell with you.
Oh no, hell isn't a community. You can never be with someone in hell. At best, you can suffer and I can suffer, and we might be in the same line of sight for each other's torment.
You paint pessimism over any and every thought.
It's not pessimism or optimism, it is grief.
Your grief is monolithic.
That's it, the anguish that I am alive and my son is dead.
All it's done is suck you dry and turn you cruel.
Oh, feelings do that sometime.
Not every feeling is equally deserving of glorification, especially grief.
If I didn't glorify my grief, I don't know what I might have done.
I think it already did plenty.
As a matter of fact, it did.
You fetishize it. You let it define you, and then you do some pretty awful shit. I mean, what kind of woman throws away her son's art and
Dead!
letters and cards and clothes and toys and everything?
Stu again really jumps almost at her and smacks his hands together.
Stop doing that.
What?
Are you to fucking hit me?
I'm just upset.
You're waving your fist in a threatening gesture?
I'm just really stiff all of a sudden.
That's weird.
It's nothing, I'm fine.
Whatever. And concerning Danny's shit, I did what I had to do in order to feel better. Period.
And the world trembled.
Not the world, just you. And I can live with that.
Exactly. What more terrible shit will you do under the rationale of your grief?
Maybe things would have been different if men like you hadn't pushed stoic bullshit for so many centuries.
Maybe men like me realize at some point people need to get up in the morning.
This time Stu stomps on the ground, hard.
Spoken like a true chauvinist.
There you go again, belittling my point because of ideology.
Stu starts jumping and flailing again.
Yes, because the world has had to bend to the whims of men and their ideology for so long. Finally, I get to bend it back a little.
Great, you're finally getting your way. Hallelujah, brave new world.
Stu really is acting out.
Stop, you are scaring me.
Not you.
What?
I'm really uncomfortable.
You're fine.
I don't know.
Sit down.
I can't.
Of course you can.
Oh, like it's taking all my strength to stay standing.
What?
Like I want to cramp over.
He snaps his head aggressively to the left again.
Damn.
He haunches over and yells in pain. He jerks his head a few more times to the left.
No.
What? Are you epileptic?
No, it's like a cramp. Like I can't fight it. It's just like a cramp.
This looks like more than a cramp.
Oh. No.
What?
Oh, honey, I'm sorry.
What?
You were right. It's tetanus.
Jesus, okay, I'll call 911.
It's too late.
Stu falls flat to his back. Izzy rushes towards him. Stu has a strange grin locked in his place as he's fighting lockjaw.
Stay back.
Stu bangs his fists on the floor, but each time it's a full body flail, like he's pushing back to prevent his body from arching up. His body arches in a way that violently bangs his head against the floor. In a penultimate arch, his body stretches like a cobra, stomach in the air, head and feet on the ground. Cracking can be heard. His teeth shatter as his jaw clamps down and blood pours from his mouth. He collapses and arches again in one last pulse. Multiple vertebrae snap. He dies instantly.
Stu? Stu? Stu!
His arched body collapses and falls through plywood. The boxes tumble as well and fall on top of him. Izzy tries to pull Stu up from the hole, but can't.
Stu, please get up, please, I'm sorry.
Izzy hops down into the hole and starts tossing aside all the boxes and their contents, pulling old, bloody love letters off of Stu.
Stop laying around, this is mean. Please. God. Please.
Izzy drags his dead body out of the hole.
Stu, come on.
Izzy feels his wrist for a pulse. The death is in the silence.
Enough. No more. Really? No. That's it for me. I'm done. Okay. You win. Your message is clear, I'm sorry. I must have missed some secret message of divination this whole time. I'm sorry! Whatever forces of the cosmos are listening, just have your way with me. I want to encourage it. The possible. I am stupid for thinking happiness was possible. Please. I am sorry. I let my son die. I should never have been really happy. I don't want to fight the inevitable. Please. I've reached my limit. Okay. If death is oblivion, it is better than this. Should I die?
Stu's violent collapse opened Houdini's door, and the cat peeks out.
I don't want life anymore. I want out. I'm not ready for whatever suffering could happen next.
Houdini sneaks into her room.
Houdini, please. I'm so sorry.
The cat crawls into the hole.
Houdini, please. I can't take it. If you get out, please, please, get out of here.
Houdini comes back up with her son's Father's Day card in his mouth. He passes it to her. She holds it in her hand, studies it. In a flourish of realization and confidence, she grabs Stu and drags his body out of her room and through the house. She pulls Stu all the way outside to the threshold of the forest, to the spot where she saw the towering blue inferno.
Houdini, don't make me chase you, honey. Go back inside.
Houdini stares at her. The house collapses into the earth, not violently, warmly. As the house disappears and the lights fade, darkness envelops everything. Then the stars pierce the night sky. Other lights appear. First they seem like stars, except they're coming from the forest. It's the eyes of the woodland creatures. Houdini walks into the forest and his eyes join the rest. Houdini's eyes grow bigger and his silhouette grows large. Inch by inch, through the darkness of the forest, his eyes climb past Izzy's until he's a giant of the woods, looking down at her with giant, benevolent lion's eyes. No! The Inferno erupts and envelops Izzy and Stu's body. The fire burns constant and grows larger. Through the blaze, Izzy stands and Stu animates and stands beside her. They embrace and hold hands. Then a substance appears between them. The substance separates their hands like a rope connecting the two, and it grows until it resembles a child. In the middle of the fire, it's clear Izzy, Stu, and their son are all reunited. The three share a moment as the blue blaze momentarily engulfs the stage and burns bright. The flame disappears along with everything in it. End of play.